Hey you guys, this is Dash from Bloom Where You're Planted, and let's talk tomatoes again. Remember me telling you that in Dallas, Texas, there is one short spring growing season, and then there's a hotter than hell period, and then there's another short fall growing season for tomatoes, which is kind of different than most climates, so it's a little tricky. So we have had an amazing June. We've had a lot of cool weather, which is very uncommon. So tomatoes are rocking. It's a really good tomato year. But it's almost over. When those temperatures get over 75 degrees at night, then your tomatoes are not gonna set fruit. You might see some blooms, but that bloom is never gonna turn into a tomato because they need those cool nighttime temperatures. So spring tomato growing season is almost over. It always seems to go too fast, you guys. So what can you do? Well, obviously you leave the vines till you've harvested all your red tomatoes. And then we have some choices. Let me show you. Vines like these, super fantastics, they've been eaten by spider mites. They're exhausted. All the red tomatoes are gone. So spring harvest is over for this plant. But let me show you. It's still alive. There's still hope. This plant looks pretty dead, doesn't it? But if you'll notice, there is hope. So if I cut this plant off right above here, cut this whole thing off, it's gonna put all its energy into these little places where it's sprouting. So there's a good hope that it will come back and give me a great fall harvest. So I'm gonna do that now. To admit, it looks a little bit more dismal than it has in previous years, especially this middle plant. There's just no green on it at all. So I'm gonna call this one. While there are sprouts on the other ones, this one, it's done. It's tired. So I'm gonna pull it up and I'm gonna plant my insurance policy that I rooted. It doesn't look like much up here, but there are good roots down there. So I'm gonna leave it in this pot for a little while longer while I nurture it, and then I'm gonna sink it in right where that is. Super fantastic fall harvest. Let's get ready. Doesn't look like much now, but wait and see. The hotter than hell period is coming. And that is just a time when it is just hard to keep your plants alive. You get high pest pressure from like squash bugs, because the heat is just so intense and the water is infrequent. So there's one thing you can do that is really can save your garden during this period, and you can extend your harvest on into it, and that is to provide your garden with shade. And I would put the greenhouse shade cloth up over my entire garden just during the months of July, August, September, and then I would take it down. So I know there are people that have done that in downtown Dallas, and it's amazing. I should take you guys to show you some of their gardens and how they continue to rock in the summer, where ours just peter out, and it's just really hard to keep everything watered and keep everything alive. So yeah, if you have opportunity to do that, that's what I would do. But I don't, and maybe neither do you. So what can we do? Well, here is one pretty simple, easy solution that you can do to shade some of your plants. What the home gardener can do is you can buy this shade cloth, greenhouse shade cloth. I got mine at North Haven Gardens. Probably a place online that you could get it. I have a hard time with buying things online because I can't tell the thickness of it, the percentage of shade. So if you have good luck with that, you know, and you can hook us up to a supplier online, that would be awesome. but I got mine here locally at North Haven Gardens. And what you can do is just put it up on one side of the cattle panel. That way you're protecting these plants on this side from the morning sun, and then they're gonna come over and get the afternoon sun. And these plants over here, you're protecting them. They get the morning sun, and you're protecting them from the hot afternoon sun. So this is one way you can do it if you've got these cattle panels up in half of your garden. How I attached it was the corners. I just slipped some wire through and wrapped it around the post. The tighter you can get it, the better, because then the wind doesn't flap it so much. And yeah, that is one easy way to give your garden a little bit relief and a little bit of shade. These are my Porter Improved, and they still have a lot of life left in them because we've had an excellent June. So they still have a lot of tomatoes ripening up on them. So these will be left for a few more weeks, and we'll see how they look. Probably then we'll harvest everything and cut them down also to grow back and give me a great fall harvest. And I also have 3 insurance policy plants rooting in back that I planted. I put them in water first, and as the roots started to get bigger, I potted them up into pots, which I'm keeping my eye on very carefully. That way, if these go belly up, spider mites just attack them and they go belly up, I've got an insurance policy. I always try to plant my tomatoes, get the new tomatoes started or cut them down, whatever I'm gonna do, by July 5th. I always like to remember holidays as a gardener, in Dallas, Texas anyway. And July 5th, July 4th, my son's birthday is on July 5th. So to me, that's, they just kind of go together. Anyway, July 4th, I try to remember we're starting over with tomatoes. In whatever method we're using, we're starting again. So in a way, we are keeping our independence by growing our own food. So, Independence Day, start new tomatoes, Dallas-Fort Worth. Now you guys, cherry tomatoes always go longer into the season. They just do. So these are still rocking. So again, I'm gonna leave these for a few more weeks to get all these little golden orbs from them before I cut them down. Breakfast in the garden, you guys. It's good. Let's visit my black vernissage tomato. You guys, it just went belly up. And I did it last year and it did the same thing. So it's probably not a variety that I'm gonna do again. I've already got a good variety I want to try picked out. It's supposed to have the same superb taste. We're gonna see if it works better with my climate. So what am I gonna do here? I didn't even get any insurance policies rooted because it was just too far gone too quick. So I'm lucky in that in Dallas, Texas, they have a garden center that knows that this area has that short spring growing season for tomatoes, and then a long period of hotter than hell, and then another fall season. So they produce and offer brand new plants right in the middle, end of June, 1st of July, for those of us who want to plant again and try again for fall. So if your tomatoes totally went belly up, or maybe you didn't even have tomatoes, you weren't ready for them this spring, you've got another shot at it. So this nursery is North Haven Gardens, and I'm gonna go this morning and I am gonna see what they have. I'm excited to find a fun variety that I'm gonna plant here. Maybe one I haven't tried before. Will it be a hybrid? Will it be an heirloom? I don't know. Most importantly, it needs to produce quickly because that fall growing season is short. So I don't want to just get green tomatoes. Although fried green tomatoes are good, you guys. Sometimes that's what we do in the fall here. Just depends on the weather. So I went to North Haven Gardens and got a bounty of new replacements. Everything was on sale for 4th of July, 25% off everything with roots, they said. So for this area where I had my black vernissage, I'm gonna do some Roma tomatoes. Yeah, La Roma Red hybrid tomato. So I am gonna plant these here. Gain my independence by growing my own food. Don't forget to plant your tomato plant deeper than you normally would, because it'll get roots all along that stem. And don't forget to fertilize. And add some calcium. I am going to use crushed up oyster shell because I had it for my chickens. You can also use crushed up eggshells or bone meal. And they all get a drink from the rain barrel and back, gaining independence from city water. My sunflowers and these bean plants will give my tomatoes a little bit of afternoon shade from that harsh Texas sun. Since tomatoes, new fresh tomatoes, were so inexpensive at the garden center sale, I just decided to start over. So I took out my Super Fantastics, which I cut back, and I'm putting in tomato red grape, which is also a hybrid. If you can, it's good to just get a fresh start. All right, you guys, that's it. I hope you are gaining your independence by growing your own food this Independence Day.